We're live, apparently. Hello, 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 hello. Good evening and hello. Can people see and hear me?
Yes.
You're probably watching an advert right now. I'm ignoring that. Probably watching an advert right now. Can see and hear with greater depth perception than Odin.
Well, hello everyone.
Hi, folks. How has everyone been? That's a silly question to ask. You're not here. You can't answer. But there is a chat thing. I don't know. Yep. Ramble time. The damn adverts. Damn adverts. Yes. Paying me something. A very, 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 very small amount for each advert. I think it's something like half a penny per advert I get, something like that. Might be less. So, it is Ramble time once again. Okay, so Ramble format. So, we are going to ramble about the course of this last week. In fact, it's for this last 2 weeks from a hobby perspective, because last week the world was on fire. It seemed like the world was on fire. Today I had to go and put socks on and my feet were cold. Whereas last week, it's like everything burned. So you opened the door and it felt like something like a blast furnace. So yes, rambling about this last week, then some rambling about the subject, then my partner in crime will be taking down your questions from the chat to pose to me at convenient moments / at the end. That's what we normally do, isn't it?
That's how it normally works, unless something's changed.
Unless something's changed. Well, I can't remember.
Something's changed.
So
that is it.
Should we go with that then?
I just want to say just one little thing just before we just get started. Cheers, Moog. I love my cup. I love it.
Don't know what she's talking.
Super cool.
Don't know what she's talking about.
Cheers, and it's red, and I love it. Honestly, it doesn't take much, but I am made up with my mug, and it says Crimson's mug, the lady, the hair, the occasional arm in shot, which is just me.
And mine is black inside. And
I love it.
It says, "Say hi, Paul's mug. The man, the beard, the legend."
Aww.
Superb. Thank you very much, sir.
Because it's so fabulous.
It can perfectly.
So thank you for that, Mick. And now I've got a coffee in it. It's all going on.
Oh, super chat from Mick the Machine for the Ramble Fund. What is a Ramble Fund?
Well, it's got to be something to do with beard combs, I think. Something like that anyway.
Yes.
And to keep you in coke. To keep you awake, all of that sort of stuff.
Keep me in beard combs. Oh, yes. You're getting a window into what the 2 minutes before go live looks like.
Yeah.
Ow. That snagged. That was a very sort of...
What? Only because I was writing.
Writing.
I was doing my job.
Oh, okay. Oh, right. I'll get back in my place.
Yeah, I love it. It's so cool.
Yes. Once again, thank you, sir. A lovely, lovely surprise. We had no idea that was happening.
No, I didn't. Very nice. Thank you. There was a little box on the table when I got here that said my name on it. And Paul was still at work, so I just carried on and then thought, I've got to open it. So
yeah, I mean, I had left mine to open until you got here, but it's all right.
Well, you snooze, you lose, don't you? I mean, can I say? I've had that, and then Joe bought me a lovely little print, which I've put together, Joe, which I should have brought upstairs to show you.
So let's talk about your week first,
because
you're starting into it. Your hobby.
Well, yeah, I did my Crimson Learns, the second part, wasn't it? The second part.
We did, yes, yeah.
Part two. Joe, but I think I don't know whether I said this last week, but Joe was my buddy, and he was absolutely lovely and helped me. So if anybody's watched it, I don't know if there are any comments. I don't know whether I've not seen. Would I see the comments, or would you just see them?
I'd just see them.
You just see them. Well, I haven't been told there's any comments, but Mick gave me a lovely compliment on Saturday, so thank you for that, Mick.
I don't think I've looked, actually.
Oh, that's nice. Thanks. So, yeah, you can tell from my voice, can't you? That's so nice. Thank you, Paul. You carry on. I'll look. Reaper. So we did that, and then on Saturday Paul had a game with Mick, and I sat and painted. Well, me and Neve sat and painted with Kieran, and he was just so lovely. He was just so lovely. He showed me how to paint, and we Skaven. And so that's what we were doing, because Neve's getting a little army together now. So we were painting those, and he was helping Neve and helping me, and very. So if he's around, the cat is jumping on my shoulder.
So we have one comment so far. Happy days. That's my Sunday afternoon sorted. Also good to see Joe and Crimson back on the channel. Lots of exclamation marks.
Who's that from? Oh, Mick. Let me. Oh, gosh. So we did that, and we had a lovely barbecue as well, right in the middle of everything, and that was nice. And I put together Joe, which was lovely, and I'll bring that up next week, Joe, so I can show you.
Sigmar the Magnificent.
The Magnificent, and he is magnificent. He's as more like a keg.
It's armor, that.
What is bare skin on his tummy?
That's not his bare skin, that's his armor.
Are you sure?
Fairly.
It's not in my head.
Okay.
In my head, it's purely physique. I am Moog. I've been totally brainwashed. so yeah, that's all we sort of did on Saturday. But it was a really, really good day. Yeah. So that's kind of the highlights anyway. Oh, and I've got a job, which has nothing to do with this, but I've got a job, and I'm now working for the Home Office. So we've been busy getting a job, because you've got to do that, unfortunately. So I've got a job, and yeah, and I'm being checked as we speak, so that I am, to prove that I'm not gonna.
Not a wrong one.
I'm not gonna give away any special secrets. So yes, that's my week.
Excellent.
Thank you, Joe. Aww.
So we've had membership comment from Mick the Machine. 22nd of October. Rumor has it Moog will be there. He has a YouTube channel too. He does indeed. Moog's Little Figures, who often does a lot live streams of paint, live stream and chat. No, streamed Moog's Little Figures. Check it out, folks.
Can't wait. I'm really looking forward to it. Hoping I might get a game if anybody's.
Well, we've got to do episode. We've got to keep up with the learning in between them. Otherwise,
thanks, Moog.
Otherwise, you've got to reinforce it. So, what's my fortnight been like? Well, the first week there wasn't a huge amount going on hobby-wise because my parents came to visit and we've been doing this thing where we've been watching all the Bond films in order of an evening. So we were doing that. That was very nice. Hobby-wise. Painted my Cron Spine Incarnate, ready for we're filming this weekend. Oh, some very frustrating news with the Fondia campaign. One of the guys is no longer able to make it for the whole weekend due to unexpected occurrences. You're on without him for chunks pointing, but he will be on some of it, so that's better than we thought it was going to be. So I've been prepping stuff for that. So I finished off painting my my Vanguard Paladors for my Astral Templars army, because they're one of the units that must be done. And then Vanguard Hunters are optional units. So I'm just finishing off painting the second unit. I've got a couple of other bits and bobs just to finish off before Friday. Need a second unit of Manskewer Bolt Boys for the Cruel Boys. So they're sort of in progress, in and amongst other things at the moment. I just keep randomly nipping into the into the hobby room and do a quick coat on their skin, then carry on with whatever else I was doing, then a quick ink, and then whatever else I was doing, in an attempt to get those done in time. So fingers crossed I'll be able to do that, as well as the prep. The other big thing hobby-wise is two big games of Age of Sigmar. The first of which was with Mick the Machine. That went up on the YouTubes yesterday, and the video's doing very well so far. Lots of views. That was in the Skaven Battle Tome, there is a special battle plan. I can't remember what it's called. It's something like Skaven Invasion, or They Came From Below, or something like that. A territory in the middle of the table, with one objective in the middle of it, and then the Skaven come in from all around the edges. That was a lot of fun because Mick had all of his free guild and Cities of Sigmar army set up with volley guns and rifles and incredible big hordes of rat men came out of the depths. Which was a lot of fun to play. The very next day, straight afterwards, I know I'm a glutton for punishment. Prologue for what's going to be a long-running series based around the Siege of Excelsior, which is in the Age of Sigmar canon, is where what's his name, is where cragonos rises to
it is if you keep getting this
connection is unstable.
I do keep getting the every time I press the live button again, it just sorts it out.
Let me have a look at what the thing's doing. Is anyone, I have to say, so can anyone else not hear? But that's a really stupid question. The internet speed looks good. Moog says he's reloaded. Has that worked, Moog?
I did that. Yeah.
Okay. I'm getting good upload speeds, so I'm not sure what might be causing that. Normally I'd be recycling the router if this was a problem. Very jumpy. Oh dear me. Yeah, it's still getting good upload speeds. Seems to be okay now. I don't know if that's just a temporary thing. So I'll carry on. I think.
Just carry on.
Please do comment about other if it happens again.
Yeah, it could be YouTube. Thanks, Kev. It could be YouTube and not you. Could be. Who knows? We'll carry on anyway.
It could be. So yes. So yes, and cragonos sort of migrate from one side of Gur to the other to attempt to sack Excelsis, which is the big Sigmarian city in Gur. Obviously, a lot of the narrative they're producing at the moment is all Gur based because the Realm of the Beasts is the is the thing for 3rd edition. There's a lot of machinations, a lot of alliances and betrayals, secret cabals, underground attacks, knocking down of walls, fleets arriving by coast, and there's all sorts goes on. So I'm going to be playing through that. So Joe and I on Sunday filmed the prologue. The how did we couch it? The pebble falls that starts the avalanche, and that was a great game. That was Joe's Knights Excelsis. Knights Excelsior. The city's Excelsis. Knights Excelsior.
Not easy for you to say.
It's not. I kept getting it wrong when we were filming. They're the most extreme and puritanical of the storm hosts. Any hint of thanks, Joe. Any hint of corruption, they stamp all over it. And there were large numbers of Skaven sort of swelling up from the sewers, bursting into the streets, and that was a really good game. That twisted and turned like a twisty turny thing.
Just before we start, just before we get into it, Aaron's just put a question up there. He says that we missed the 2nd year channel anniversary, and the first hobby vlog anniversary will be coming up on Monday. We got any plans for that?
No specific plans. I mean, a little while ago, I did have the notion of doing something for it, but brain's been a bit bashed.
It may be, but it may just be a little bit of a delayed one.
Yeah, I mean, in theory, the first episode of the Fondia campaign might come out. I don't know. I mean, it feels like we should do something.
Oh, yeah,
last year, I just did a to camera talky thing about, well, what's this last year been like then? It's right. There's no fan here. It's not traveling. Lemmy's here, and whenever I stroke her, this sort of fur cloud appears. Like just moving my arm is making the fur move. I need to sit very still, otherwise Crimson will asphyxiate. I don't believe I put anything out until it was either August or September. I know I actually created the channel in July, but I don't think I was getting ready for a big release. So yeah, I'd have to look up what the date was.
It'd be nice to do something like that and put out some numbers and things that be nice to do a little bit of a chat to camera.
Yeah. Well, maybe we'll have a chat about that and see what we can come up with.
Definitely.
Yeah. So that's, and then after that, an exhausting time this week trying to carry on after wall-to-wall awesomeness. I think there were 2 12-hour days on the weekend doing the filming and the prepping and setting up tables and everything. So absolutely shattered this week, and just finishing off the last couple of bits that need to be ready for Friday for the filming of the Fondia campaign, which is 5 parts, and very much looking forward to it. One moment, thirsty. Still no sponsorship. Well, I mean, I'm getting merch from Moog's Little Figures. That's is that sponsorship? I don't know if that's whatever. It's tasty. Diet Coke break. So.
Oh, thank you, Mick. Yeah, Mick's just looking at Mick's comment. Yeah,
You forgot to mention Crimson's awesome barbecue and cake. Crimson is an amazing host.
Thank you. I do like. I don't like to. Joe will know this as well. I hate it when anybody goes home hungry. So we had cake and we had barbecue.
I don't think anyone has ever left your company feeling
hungry. Yeah. So
that's not a thing.
Oh, thank you. It was lovely to have. I just like to entertain, and it was lovely to have.
Even Paul Fest at tabletop events, wonderful day that it was. You turned up with cakes and you made teas and coffees for everyone and handed them around.
I did. That's when I was sort of very new and trying to get to know everybody. So that was really useful as well.
Oh, and can you see Joe's comment? Crimson's Cakes and Bakes YouTube channel.
Yeah. When? Yeah, I could do that. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
Yes, Joe.
I did toy with it when I was trying to think what I could do to expand when I was thinking of the notion of doing things full time. Yeah. I did wonder of the idea of doing a Say Hi Paul Cooks channel, where just sort of, some random dunce who doesn't know what he's doing follows a recipe and cooks something, because I can't create, but I can follow recipes well.
Yeah, I create everything I do. I create myself. It is a bit of a recipe follow, but I do go maverick a little bit as well. But Pixel Reaper, yes, I do remember making you tea. So, thank you everybody. So Paul, now you've started it, you've got to carry on, haven't you? So yes, I will be doing those. Thank you everyone.
Most of everything that's happened over the last couple of weeks,
I think it is. I don't think we've out, and if we have, tell us. We have
so
let's do it.
Okay, so and I'm holding the book now. It's an old book. It's a first edition book. I'm not sure, but the reason about this is so much. There's so much for is one thing, and I guess there's a number of layers to Cities of Sigmar for me. I have become absolutely hooked on the and they are starting to run now. The ones I'm really not that attracted to, like the Lumineth ones and so on. And more or less every book, the background is always the cities of Sigmar, and the that in the majority of 40k books that aren't explicitly Space Marine books are all based around the Imperial Guard or some kind of civilian force, or they at least interact with them. And for me, it's one of the in the corner, and yeah, absolutely. I see now it says my connection's unstable.
Yeah, am I?
Yeah.
It can't be us because our signal is quite a strong signal.
It is
for
now,
once.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, I paid to at the door, repeating the signal. It's could someone just confirm that they can still hear me? Who's not in the room with me?
No, I won't say. Audio's a little bit broken.
Can see, can hear. Okay, it doesn't seem like it's everyone.
It's not.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So thanks for confirming, guys. They form the bedrock of the majority of stories, and to be able to tell the stories in a similar way, I mean, who'd have thought, in a similar way to 40k, where the Space Marines are a very good subject for stories and very exciting and very sort of hero-y. They are outnumbered by the millions to one by the Imperial Guard. Same thing in Cities of Sigmar. The Stormcast Eternals are a significantly smaller host when compared to the Free Guild armies, and so that's one aspect of it. Is the desire to want to be able to tell the stories. When a bunch of let's say Aurochs roll over a town, chances are it's not the Storm host who are defending it. I mean, they might be, but there are also going to be some other forces there with them. And I like the way you can interconnect the two together very, very, what's the word? Not unique, not simplistically, elegantly. The rule they just dovetail in together so nicely. It's really good. But the other reason for particularly liking the Cities of Sigmar is the variety of different elements in it. You've got the Free Guild, you've got the Iron Worlds, you've got the Devotees of Sigmar, you've got the Colleges of Magic, you've got the Duardin Unhomed, you've got the not the Corsairs, the Privateer fleets, you've got the Darkling Covens, you've got the Phoenix Temples, you've got all these sort of smatterings of different parts of culture that really can and do represent the melting pot of the forces of order, or in some cases either huddling for safety in a place, or thriving in a sort of big metropolitan type environment. And you can represent all of that through the Cities of Sigmar. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to excuse me, I'm going to open the book and talk a little bit about it. So it mentions a number of specific cities. Now, most of these are cities that feature in a lot of the earlier narrative books. So Greywater Fastness in the realm of Gairan, where Sigmar reaches an accord with Alariel of the Sylvaneth to form an alliance, but Sigmar needs a strong point to be able to focus around. So she basically acquiesces to let him level a large chunk of the environment so he can build a Greywater Fastness around a realm gate. And often a lot of the Silverleft rebel against it, and it's very cool. And you can represent the living city with specific rules in the book. So it has its own custom traits. You've also got Hammerhall, the twin-tailed city, which is a city built around a realm gate. Is Greywater Fastness built around a realm gate? I'm not sure it is, actually. But Hammerhall is definitely built around a realm gate between Akshi and Gyram. And the forces of the army represent the sort of duality of life and fire. And there's different aspects of the two that you can that you can represent. Now, obviously, because the book is relatively old, it isn't caught up well with some of the current lore. So Anvilgard, for example, is still in here, and Anvilgard gets overtaken, or has been overtaken, by the by your favourite psychotic stabbing ladies.
Oh, demonettes.
No.
Daughters of Cain.
Yeah, by the Daughters of Cain.
I'm listening to that book at the minute. Oh, I've got to stop listening to it in car. Scary.
What's it called?
Covens of Blood. Yeah.
That's a good book. That's a very
good book. Good.
That's a very good book. And that happens, I think, in the Marathi books. There were a number of source books at the end of second. Marathi, Cragonos, Teclis, Bellicor. I think that's all of them. I haven't read all of them, I have to say. And they moved the plot on. So this book makes references to Anvilgard, which doesn't exist anymore because it was basically taken over and is now a Cainite city. Equally, it doesn't include any of the books, any of the cities that have really been what's the word? Introduced since then. So there's nothing really in here about Excelsis. Now that has been the Kragnos book, which tells the story of the siege of Excelsis, does have dates for free for cities of Sigmar. Which is good, but the book. So the book gives you effectively sort of free reign to take any of these units. So from it's sort of like a chocolate box for anyone who wants to just build an army, but also it lets you tell all kinds of stories. So, for example, I'm just going to read a couple of the headlines just to give people some context. I'm going to slip back a few pages. Oh, we have Paul Gray, member for 14 months. And models I own are older than most of the people I play 40k against. Must have 8 metal cannons around here somewhere. Good man. So, for instance, the collegiate arcanum, of which there are about 4 or 5 units for in the book, mostly character heroes and a couple of war machines. Feared and respected by all, the battle mages of the collegiate arcana are almost the most powerful spellcasters in the realms. Each has dedicated their entire life utilizing sorcerer's foci and engines of untold destructive power. They lay waste to the enemies of Azir. So one of the nice things that I find is that so sort of the collegiate arcanum things in here tie together in the book. So if you take collegiate units, there's complementary stuff. If you take free guild, there's complementary stuff across the units, and that's true across the way with the Duardin, with the Elves, and all that government. So there's sort of side to side stuff, but then you can layer on the city they're from, and they all have a sort of aspect from that city that binds them all together. Which I'm hoping when they do the new book, because they have announced the new book, and they've done it in such a way that implies that they're trying to represent all the variety of the free, which I'm so looking forward to. So looking forward to that. Yeah. Lost my thread there. Don't worry. I'll carry on with something else. Maybe the thread will come back. The free guilds. Now the free guilds. So these are effectively sort of standing armies. They're ready for war in their multitudes. The brave defenders of Sigmar's cities, though they are mere mortals. Freudian slip. Were dead, without supernatural strength or magic power. They bravely set their steel against the monstrous and the demonic, trusting in their faith and the glorious dream of the God King's realm-spanning empire. Empire.
Empire.
Power. It's easy for you to say. The dispossessed. The Duardin of the dispossessed are the remnants of proud empires shattered during the age of chaos. By their hand are many of the God King's sturdiest edifices and fortifications razed. Mere builders. When battle calls, they march towards it without fear, clad from head to toe in shimmering gromil. Oh, super chat. Paul Gray, super chat. Lol. When is Crimson Fest happening then? Not that I'm hoping for Crimson Fest. Oh, well, what happened last time was people in the audience decided that Paul Fest was going to be a thing, and they arranged it. So crack on with it, Crimson Fest. You will work it out, and
it was such a fun day. It was such fun. Yeah, it was a great day. You were brilliant, Paul, by the way, with the modelling for the.
That was Crimson Ribbon.
That was Crimson Ribbon. Yeah. That was Crimson Ribbon. Yeah.
Started with the name, work backwards.
Yeah.
So one of the nice things with the Dispossessed is some of the books I've recently listened to are the Gotrek series, and they're so good. They're so good that they, for me, are the equivalent of Caiaphas Cain in the Mortal Realms, because basically some cantankerous git doesn't want to do anything people are telling him to, and just wanders around doing his own thing against the flow, and it really strikes Caiaphas Cain. So for me, it's the same. It's not the same sort of story, but it's got some of the same hooks in me as Caiaphas Cain does. And that's the series of Realm Slayer, Ghoul Slayer, Git Slayer, and Soul Slayer. And in Soul Slayer, some of the stuff he meets up with with not temple's the wrong word, but the Forge of Fire Slayers. And they talk a lot about when the ancestral halls of the Duardin and out by Skaven, and how the realms are under the thumb of chaos, but can be taken back if people have the will to do it. And just the Duardin / Dwarven. One of the things I really like about it is that because Gotrek is from the old world. I mean, basically, you get the gist of this in the first 5 minutes, so it's not really a spoiler. The end of the old world was sent by Grungi sent by the fighting god into the realm of chaos. Then the old world ended, and then at some point he gets spat out of the realm of chaos into the mortal realms. And so he's talking about dwarves and elves, and he says things like this hole isn't half bad, but they just haven't put the work in. Those doors there, they could be fantastic if they just spent another few decades on them. And the person was like, decades? He's like, I once spent a year at a forge hammering away at the same piece of metal too. And there's a lot of stuff like that, and it's really for the Dwarden. Instantly, having finished the book, went right where dwarf terrain, so I can do dwarven ruins with Skaven and goblins, and build a Dwarden army that I can ally with. And I most definitely, excuse me, I most definitely have on the list some kind of dwarf table, dwarven cavern table, dwarven ruins. I found some lovely pillars that were like £10 each. I'm like, I probably need a dozen of them. I'm like, not.
Oh, we put those.
No, supposed to be found. And I'm like, oh yeah, I'm doing this. I'm so doing this. Question is when. They're on the list. It's on the list. So yeah, the dispossessed. Then you got the Ironworld Arsenal. The Lords of the Ironworld Arsenal are the techno-arcane engineers of Sigmar's empire, masters of strange black powder weaponry. In battle, they use their devastating inventions to lay waste to the enemies of order, leaving behind nothing but smoking ash and melted metal. Now, you can tell from the model line that they've got that they could do an awful lot of fleshing out with some of these. Some of them are new-ish models, and others are the old fantasy battle line. Book that all the fantasy battle that didn't fit anywhere has ended up in, but they kind of do it in a nice way. And I'm really Ironworld flesh out more of it, because I can see them doing some kind of sort of like Thunderer type thing, sort of heavy clad rifleman as part of the Ironworld, or Ironworld Dwarden or machines and a cogsmith are the sort of main options. And I think it's changed over time. Yeah, really interested to see what they do. Darkling Covens are another. So from the old Dark Elves in from the old Fantasy Battle Dark Elves, you as a sort of witch elfy army or a red prince type army, and while on to be Daughters of Cain with sort of slithering snakes and stabby people. And the Darkling Covens went on to become part of Cities of Sigmar with the Covens in the cities. The Darkling Covens are a secretive orders of elf spellcasters who practice the darkest sorceries, allied with the armies of Azir solely to further their own ends and to bring out the reformation of the Stygian empires. They bring their dark and terrible arts to bear against the enemies of order. And I like the way that they bind together all of the allies of Sigmar are a very, very uneasy alliance. That, you know, if things were different, these guys wouldn't be allies. So Cain, for example, the Cainites and the Daughters of Cain, they worship murder, and they're not pleasant people. No. And people that they're not. No, they're not pleasant people. No, I mean,
I spend a lot of my time going, no way, that can't. Yeah, they're evil.
Yeah. So a lot of these alliances are alliances of convenience, because good and evil is not synonymous with law and chaos, and destruction and chaos are two of order, whether it be evil order. So I kind of see evil, or if you take necromancy aside, because I think we can judge this up a bit and gone off to do his own thing, but they are also, to an extent, one of the forces of order. Arguably, I could argue against it, but I could argue for it. Yeah, so the Darkling Covens, yeah. Oh, no, I love these guys. Ruthless. So again, in what's it called? In thingy, the Dark Elves in Fantasy Battle. In Fantasy Battle, they were the ones who carried the Dark Elf armies out of Barak. No, that's not right. It's been a long time since I've known the Dark Elf city names. But in AOS, they are the Scourge Privateers. Ruthless masters of seas, Scourge Privateers are the inheritors of a proud naval heritage. Their ancestors once ruled with an iron fist over vast ocean-spanning empires. Now they earn their living as monster hunters and coastal raiders for the God King's armies, but they still have grand ambitions. Listening to a book a while ago called The Silver Shard of chasing down Callus and Toll, if that means anything to anyone. A couple of witch hunters chasing down a sorcerer with some Scourge privateers, and part of that passage had the models. There's a game here, and it sort of refers to this part of the book where I can see the numbers dropping so much, but I think the connection is really unstable.
Yeah.
So it's basically a witch hunt with a load of Scourge privateers who he'd hired to get him from A to B, that end up fighting against a whole load of disciples of Tzeentch in the middle of a jungle. And I thought, oh yeah, man, if I had the models for these, this would totally be a game. And it's like, yeah, okay, but superb. And it's just so many little bits. You could have all sorts of scenarios where you've got, I don't know, a Dwarden watchmaster is going on a quest. So there's a whole bunch of Dwarden, but they need passage from a Scourge fleet. Or, there's so many stories you can create from the recipe book that is the Cities of Sigmar. And I don't know if any of you have noticed or not, I'm all about the stories. The Phoenix Temple. These are effectively some of the old High Elves. Many elves worship the Ur Phoenix, but in its cycle of death and rebirth, they see a symbol of hope for their fading race. Warriors of the Phoenix Temple are reborn as silent seekers of revenge, grim-faced revenants who scour the tainted chaos from the land with frost and flame. These guys are High Elves all day long.
Yeah, Mick's just saying that all the best people are here. Just crack on.
That's Moog.
What is that Moog? Oh, sorry. I read the
You missed your end. You're
Sorry,
mixing your
I
ends.
missed the Yeah, sorry, Moog.
It's because they're both blue.
Yes.
Then the Wanderers. These are basically wood elves, riding stags and stuff. Moving like shadows through the wild woods and realms, the Wanderers seek to regenerate the lands beyond Azir by restoring ancient ley lines that link to them. Those who stand in the way of this goal are swiftly dispatched with blade, bow, or spell. You could build a whole army around them. You absolutely could. Or you could have, or they could be part of a narrative. I mean, they would stand with forces of Gairan in some scenarios, not in others. You've definitely got a sort of, yes, we collaborate on this, but you knocked down a wood and built that horrible city. Now have at you. Have at you. The Order Serpentis. So these are your Dark Elf Cold One riders. The Black Knights of the Order Serpentis seek out the most vile and cruel-hearted beasts of the realms. leashing these savage creatures to their will and riding them to battle upon their backs. Malicious and quick to anger, they are not so much allies of the God King's armies as weapons of utter destruction to be unleashed upon the foe. Yeah, this is an uneasy alliance of do-gooders and psychos. And then, so in the middle, you got this beautiful sort of diorama of a free guild army with Griffhound riders and a free guild general on a griffin with free guild armies, hordes of flagellants following the Stormcast Eternals into battle, just feverishly running in. Dwarden with steam tanks, and yeah, it just looks. I can when they describe the glorious cities and the forces that march out from them, I see this. It's magnificent, and the games you can do, and then they've got. Well, as with all of them, they've got.
Cool.
That's the Iron Oak Sigil of the Living City contains the Comet of Sigmar and the symbol of Gairan united
cool.
as one. That's very cool.
Yeah.
That's sort of a tree, not stump, but sort of half a tree with the two-tailed comet at its head.
Yes.
It's very cool. And there's so many just nice depictions of different types of cities with different forces. We've got a Phoenix Temple, Skaven. We've got Ironweld and Dwarden.
When is this available?
This has been out for years. This is an old. It's an old book. It's an old book. This is what I was playing Mick with on Saturday.
Oh, right.
This is what Mick was using, and I've got some of these that I relatively recently rebased, but I haven't had the chance to use yet. I'm really juiced for expanding my Cities of Sigmar. They just fill so many niches. And then we go to Hammerhall and the different traits for the different temples. Now, I'm not going to go through those because these have been out for quite a while. I really just wanted to gush about the the various things. And if I'm right, it's the book's also organized in this way. So the free guild stuff, free guild general, demogryph knights, outriders, pistoliers, hand. Then you're moving in free guilds. Now we're into the devoted of Sigmar with flagellants. See, there isn't a priest in here anymore, but there is one in Legends, and I'll be amazed if there isn't one when they redo the book. Battle Mage on Griffin, Luminarch of Heish, which is one of those big. They were fantasy battle. They were basically carts with big magic things on top. Celestial Hurricanum. I mean, they're just so cool. Then we've got the Darkling Coven, Sorceress on Black Dragon, Sorceress, Blackguard, Executioners, Bleak Swords, Dark Shards, Dark Spears. Then we're into the Dwarden, Warden King, Rune Lord, Longbeards. So these are the dispossessed who had their holds taken from them during the Age of Chaos. Iron Drakes, Iron Breakers, Hammerers. Then we're into the Ironweld, Cogsmiths, Gyrocopters, Gyro Bombers, Steam Tanks, Hellblaster Volley Guns, Hellstorm Rocket Batteries. Then we're into the Phoenix Temple, Anointed, Phoenix Guard, Frostheart Phoenix, Flamespire Phoenix. Then we're into the Order Serpentis, Dreadlords on Black Dragons, War Hydras, Drakespawn Chariots, Drakespawn Knights. Then we're into Shadowblades, Assassins, Shadow Warriors, Dark Riders, Scourge Privateer. A Scourge Privateer unit, didn't know that. Black Ark Fleetmaster, Black Ark Corsairs, Scourge Runner Chariots, didn't know that either. Then we're into Nomads, the Wood Elf type contingent, Nomad Princes, Eternal Guard, Rangers, Sisters of the Watch, Wild Riders, Sisters of the Thorn. So much variety, such a big chocolate box of things to do, and they can ally with practically any force of order. Daughters of Cain, Fire Slayers, Ideneth, Caradron, except for Tempest Eye, Sylvaneth, except for Living City or Greywater Fastness. So there's some story effect where you can and can't ally. I love it. I absolutely love it. And so high on my list of things to just go all in on, to be able to play all these wondrous stories. There we go. I've rambled through the book. Have any questions?
Only a couple, and one's more of a Ooh, gosh, my computer's doing something. One's just a bit more of a statement than that. Mick said, demand tree murdering monkeys have no business in Gyrum. Just saying.
You sure it's Merc who said that and not Moog?
Oh, is it? No, shut up.
Tree murdering monkeys being well. Moog has a tree army, and Mick doesn't.
Moog, what is going on? You don't even look alike.
Are you conflating your Micks and your Moogs?
Mix and Moogs. Anyway,
as Moog said that.
What is wrong with
me tonight? Know.
Tell you, I'll get sacked. It's gonna happen. Joe. Now I know this is Joe. Says, what is a bit of murdered innocence weighed up against the threat of chaos? Answers on a postcard.
Well, absolutely. It's the, I guess it's the sort of Tau argument. What's the greater good here? The greater good, well, they might murder that village, but they'll get really powerful and go and kill the bad guy. Sucks to live in that village.
You see, you don't need name badges, because when I see you, I absolutely know there is no resemblance whatsoever. So I do know that. So see you face to face. That's it. There's been not very many questions.
I guess Cities of Sigmar is not a big draw, which is a shame.
I'll just look on
Discord.
Yeah,
I've got it up. I've got it here on that monitor.
Is there anything? Have we missed anything?
Nothing I can see.
No, there's nothing. No.
Covenant of Blood, Chris. I think it's called Covenant of Blood.
What, the one I'm reading?
Yeah.
Covens
of Blood.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, and it is really, really good. And I thought it weren't going to be that good. And I can't.
Covens of Blood.
I just can't. I can't say what?
You didn't think it was going to be any good?
I didn't think it was going to be any good. And I started listening to it, and now I am.
You were humouring me, were you?
I'm like, get out of my car! I need to listen to this. Yeah. No, I think it's great. I think it's really good.
Yeah.
And I started off by going, go on, just kill her. Leave no remains. Anyway, that's just a little insight into mine.
Yeah, it's a scary place. It's a scary place.
It is actually.
Yeah. Actually, Mick makes a very good point, Chris. All you need is the Blades of Corn book, and you can use your corn demons in AOS straight away. Sleep with one eye open.
Yeah,
no, she's
too right. They're great, and they're so fast. I love it.
We should, yes, indeed.
Oh, big time.
So,
there's nothing. And as I say, we've just checked Discord, and there isn't anything. So I think the heat's got to everybody. I think.
Okay, well, if it was kind to put socks on today, it was colder than right now. I am really hot.
Yeah, it's warm in this office.
Yeah.
It is warm in this office. My legs are sweating. And I've got my shorts on. My legs are sweating.
Well, you've got a massive pillow on it with your laptop on it. Yeah.
I've got a pillow on my knee because I can't have the laptop on my legs because it burns.
Yeah.
So yeah, got bare legs.
Well, on that happy note, big shout out. Thank you to everyone who has super chatted. We Ray and
Mick, Paul Gray and Mick, and use it. I'll just hold it there. It was Mick, and I'm not sure.
Possibly
22
both.
months, and then Paul Gray as well, using his membership chat thing.
His membership chat thing.
Well,
thank you to everyone, to all channel members and everyone who's tuned in tonight and stayed with.
I've got something else. I'm not here next week. Dun dun dun.
You're on your holidays, aren't you?
Now I'm hoping I'll be able to get on in the tent, but if I can't, see you in a week.
2 weeks.
It'll
be 2 weeks. Yeah.
2 weeks. Yeah. I know. What? Yeah. I know.
Well, on that note, and we'll see you in the next one.
See you in the
bye for now.
Hopefully, see you in the next one.
Bye.